work week, and I had a kind of a later session tonight. And honestly, these are not the hours I love to work. I have been working early morning to like mid-afternoon for the last probably 8 years. So it's tough. These are not my shiny, glorious hours. But I just had a session, and it's a newer client. And, an area that we talked about tonight was one of the horsemen. So in the Gottman method of couples therapy, we talk about 4 negative communication patterns, and we call these the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, which is just like my absolute favorite thing to say because it just sounds awful. And using them in our communication isn't great. And the one that we talked about, which is the worst of them all, it's actually the #1 predictor of divorce, it's contempt. So when contempt starts to enter into our relationship and into our communication style, you're in trouble. And one of the reasons you're in trouble is because when you are contemptuous, meaning you are putting down your partner, insulting your partner, name calling, acting as if you're superior. Non-verbally, you could be rolling your eyes or kind of making a smirk, lifting this muscle here in your cheek. When you do that, you're eroding your friendship. You're eroding your intimacy. I mean, how can I feel as though you care about me, respect me, and love me when you are calling me names, when you're putting me down, when you're just showing a lot of disrespect for me as a human? It makes it really hard, if not impossible, for us to feel as though there's a friendship and there's gonna be any sort of emotional intimacy. I'm likely gonna shut it down, right? Like, I am not gonna trust you with anything that's going on in here. So then we'll be lacking so much of what makes a relationship special. And so it's really, really important that is left out. And if it comes in, we got a lot of work to do, because usually contempt comes in after we've been kind of putting a lot of the other horsemen into play. And once you cross that line, for whatever reason, like, it makes it easier to continue to do it and sometimes take it further. And so we start to see contempt. We mix it with anger, we mix it with alcohol. And that's when we can start to see physical and then really violent type of communication coming out. So it was just something that was discussed tonight, and it was heavy on my heart, and it's something that always really bums me out when I see it, and I get a little hopeless, to be honest, because it's hard to get out of that space. It's hard, and it's a lot of me to ask of somebody to put their heart back in it, and it's also hard to for people who have kind of started down that path of being contemptuous, because you have to think, if I can say this to somebody, I have to think kind of negatively about them. So I think it was today I posted a video about positive sentiment, and that is like it, like there's so much negative sentiment, and you must have such a negative schema of your partner to be able to speak to them that way. So let's try to remember, again, that friendship and intimacy is the foundation of your relationship. And if we undermine that, or we erode that with contempt, it's really hard to really build upon and continue to strengthen that foundation. So I wish everyone just a lot of love. And I know this is a hard time, and everybody, I know we're doing like literally the best we can, and we're changing our schedules, and we are, just showing up. And sometimes, honestly, that's enough. But let's show up with kindness. Let's show up with compassion. And just the little bit that you can do in the world will really make this really big difference. So have a great weekend, and I will see you soon. Bye.